Okay, it's day 204 of a screenwriter's journey. My file is kind of messed up, but more importantly, even though it is February 22nd when I'm writing this, it's actually May 16th, so I'm almost 3 months behind, which is a world record I'm not extremely proud of, but a lot of reasons, mostly because I've been writing and busy with other projects and work and, oh, yeah, lots of stuff. So I am totally lost as to where I am. I almost feel like this is a waste of time, but I am going to declare that it's not a waste of time. So I'm on page 91, which is based on a 120 page script that should be right at the beginning of Act 3. But as we know, even though it says 143 down there in the corner, 91 of 143, we know that the script is going to be about, 100 to 105 pages, let's say. So I've only got 10 to 15 pages left, so I need to be squarely in the heart of Act 3. And as I'm looking at what I'm writing here, Park Road, so they're in the park, and this is that, I can't even remember the name of the park, frankly, for reasons that may become apparent as we go on. But clearly, if the airport is going to be how the big, thing ends, then obviously we cannot still be in the park at this point in the script. So something's got to change. Although they're leaving the park. And so you could argue that the action of Jake having gotten shot and all that sort of kicks it off into Act 3. But does that really involve Holly? That's a question that I continue, struggle with, is making sure that Holly is the protagonist front and center. I mean, obviously she is, but do the events that transpire put her at the center of everything? And I'm not going to go into all the examples that I typically do, but obviously the protagonist has got to play a part. So you would say, what is the part that she is playing in kicking this thing into the third act? I guess it could be events that transpire that kick it into the third act. But I think the point is that as I wrote this and then reviewed it and am reviewing it here, it's kind of clear to me that this is not structurally correct. And it's funny because I just last week listened to a podcast, and I think it was Corey, I want to see Corey Feldman, but he's an actor. I can't remember his name. He's a screenwriter. He's done some stuff. He does a lot of coaching. He does a lot of, I don't know if he teaches classes or exactly what he does. And if I was doing my due diligence, I would look him up right now. And I guess I could while I'm working on this. It's Corey someone. He's been on Film Courage a lot, and he seems to really know what he's doing. But the point is, he talked a lot about Save the Cat being not the way to go, or maybe learning structure, but then disregarding it, because he says that readers and people like that can spot Save the Cat scripts a mile away, and they know they're going to be formulaic and basically will disregard them. That's the first I've ever heard of that. I'm sure the Save the Cat people would heartily disagree. So where does that leave me? I'm certainly not going to abandon my inherited friend, Blake. But I know a guy who wrote a Save the Cat book. I think it was like Save the Cat TV or something like that. I should ask him what he thinks about that. That would be interesting. I don't know that he'd reply, but he might. I don't know him as a friend. I know him as someone who was on some websites that I've been on in the past. So the point is, what sort of 3-act structure you believe in and beat sheets and all that, Um, this whole thing in the park is just taking way too long. I obviously can't scroll back and look because I'm looking at a screen recording right now, but there's no way that this should be happening now. And I think it's just a case of me getting caught up in trying to come up with something new, trying to come up with something better, etc., and then just writing at the cost of, well, I should say, seeing if it will work at the cost of just going on way too long and just not, I don't know, breaking rules that I probably should know better. So I guess the lesson learned here is don't do this. Obviously, you know the tales of woe of sort of losing my place. No, losing my train of thought, losing my, not conviction. What did I lose? I lost confidence. No, lost face, save face. The point is that this is just, A, it's taking way too long. B, it's not that good. And C, I should have done some homework and really thought this through more, either in my notes document or somewhere on an actual beat sheet or index cards, God forbid, and done it that way, because this is just crazy. And the thought, I'm just literally thinking of this now, 3 months worth of writing, and I didn't write every day, but I'm sure there's another 40 or 50 or 60 days of writing that if I'm going to be true to this journey, I have to do voiceovers for. Having said that, it's not all doom and gloom, because A, whenever you're writing, you're making progress, even if what you write stinks, which in this case, I'm just sort of half looking at what I'm writing here. And it's, it's not horrible, I don't think, but it's not A+ stuff. And the main reason is that it's just taking way too long. And I really need to get into some cut, chop stuff. Literally chop. Not hurry, but chop, as in lessen the page count. The other silver lining is that somewhere along the way, spoiler alert, number 816, I kind of find my way, I think, I hope. And so the time between February 22nd and May 16th, there hopefully will be some good news, but it may not be sooner. It may more like be later. So that is a little disconcerting to think about. The other thing that I had mentioned is, now that I'm using DaVinci Resolve to do this, I thought about using OBS, and I realized that I could, but what I couldn't do, well, I guess I could, because you can speed stuff up a little bit when you play it back in VLC, but you can't speed it up 500%. So I would have to go into DaVinci, speed it up 500%, make a new file, take it into OBS, and then record the voiceover and do the screen recording, which, when you think about it, is kind of silly. So the point is that I cannot tell how far how much longer I have to record. When I first set this up, I thought I figured out a way to do that, but I don't see. There's one thing about DaVinci is it's not as customizable, which they admit. And I guess once I get used to it, if I do, then this won't be a big deal. But I don't know how much longer I have to talk. Not that that should bother you. Let's see. If you blubber something about honeycomb, I'm sorry, did I give the impression? I like that line of Rachel's on 93. Did I give you the impression that your father and I had reconciled? Oh, there's the day. The day's over. I'm just going to cut it right there. 2:04 in the can. Bye-bye.